Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know everybody says this, but like it feels like this is the album I've been waiting. It's taken my whole life to write. Um, but I do feel a little like that, at least like
This is about you and your journey in music.
let's do it.
Cool. And I love the video. I just saw the video that you put out.
Oh,
Like
thank
the
you.
single shot. Yeah, I want to talk to you about that as well. Cool. So New York, were you born and raised in New York?
I was, yeah, Greenwich Village in Manhattan.
Wow. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Oh, it was insane. It was very normal to me. Although every time, since I was in college, I went to NYU, and
Cool.
I started meeting people who were like, "What was it like to grow up in the city?" And I was just like, I wish I could tell some crazy stories, but it was, maybe a little louder and more hectic than most people. But it was just growing up.
But still to have like access to, getting pretty much anywhere. Like
Yeah.
I grew up in San Diego where you needed a car to do anything.
Mhm.
And then I moved to San Francisco for a few years. And when I was there, like just being in, which is a much smaller scale than New York City, just being there thinking like, wow, that'd be crazy to like grow up in the city here. Like it's what a different way of life. And then you think about it, like you're in the biggest city there
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I guess there are a few things that were very normal to me that maybe weren't super normal to other. I mean, like my dad is a musician, and I grew up going to lots of jazz clubs and
Oh,
seeing him
cool.
play, and it became a thing very early on that like I wasn't allowed to get into the clubs, and then there would be this big drama where my dad would have to come out from backstage and persuade the security guard to let me in, and then they would write a huge X on my
Oh yeah, the
in
big double
Sharpie.
X's.
Yeah. And so yeah, stuff like that. But yeah,
That's, I mean,
I
but
love
that's
New
still
York.
pretty cool. That's still pretty. I mean, well, dad
Yeah.
was a musician or is a musician,
Yes.
so
Yes.
that's how you got into music. I'm imagining.
Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty it was written it was in the cards for me to pick it up. My whole dad's family, they're all musicians. It's just it's in the DNA. So, and then my mom is a music lover, not a musician, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'd say I picked up like a lot of my taste from my mom, but then the actual like playing music side from my dad. Yeah, it was
Okay.
inevitable.
What's your dad play?
He plays trumpet and
Okay.
jazz trumpet and sings, and also has like another life as a folky songwriter type. So
That's cool. So that's what he did for, that was his gig for his job,
yeah.
was to be a musician. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he grew up like he was a commercial fisherman. He lived a whole other life when he was in his teens and 20s as like super like raw, like living out on the seas of British Columbia.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and then he moved to New York and pursued music and went from there. So yeah.
Okay. And what age did you start playing instruments?
For me, it was drum set at 6. My 6th birthday, I got my first drum set, and then
Okay.
picked up around 10 or so. I picked up guitar and bass and piano, and started singing when I, got into my teens, and recording myself on GarageBand and layering myself a bajillion times, which was just my favorite like evening activity, after school, just like make a song. A
Mhm.
lot of those I still have.
Really?
Yeah, they're just like sitting in my iTunes.
That's cool.
Somehow
Have
they
you
made
ever,
it.
yeah, did you ever like, do you ever revisit them and possibly use any pieces of any of those songs for anything?
Not not on purpose, but there are many, many times where I go and listen to songs I made, and I hear stuff that I still do, like little like chord changes, a lot about the
Okay.
chord changes. And
Okay.
I'm just like, oh God, like I've been writing the same stuff for decades.
That's funny. Yeah, I interviewed a while back. I interviewed John Nolan from the band Taking Back Sunday, and he was talking about writing his first songs. and learn, like he learned 3 chords or whatever, and then he's like, and then I use those 3 chords to write songs for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, basically said like, and then I just wrote the same progression for 20 years straight. But I just thought it was so funny.
Yeah, I love how songwriters like have their little things that they just love to do. And
Mhm.
whenever I hear a song that does a thing that I like, I'm like, oh yeah, there's that thing. I love that
Sure.
thing.
That's so cool. So you were 6 when you started playing drums. How long
Yes.
did you play drums for?
Still doing it. I'm 30
Okay.
now, and
Okay, so you
drums.
never stopped when you picked up guitar. It was something you continued to play.
Yeah, the drums were like I was like, young prodigy drummer where like it was my first kind of like uh my easiest instrument ever. It's just
Okay.
like I seem to have a knack for the drums without
Uh-huh.
much training. And so that was like my focus all the way up through college. I majored in jazz drums. um
Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to
but
get to that point.
basically
I figured you went to where Clyde Davis or something.
not Clive Davis. I went to the jazz program just
Okay.
across the way in Steinhardt, little known Steinhardt.
Okay.
Um, but
Well, NYU, I
yeah,
mean, nonetheless.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It
Well,
was, but anyway, yeah,
well,
the guitar and bass and all the other stuff was very like self-taught and kind of just supplied. Like I wanted to start songwriting, and so you need a little more than drums to song to write songs. I mean,
mhm.
that's a controversial statement in my opinion, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But yeah, basically all the other stuff I kept pretty like untrained, just like following my bliss type of stuff, and
Mhm.
drums were like my regimented, like technical training instrument. But yeah.
Okay. I have a 5-year-old son, and when quarantine first started, he's just like wild. So we got him a drum kit, but the electric one. So the
Mhm.
neighbors didn't like want to kill me when
Yes.
I walked outside. And we finally got him lessons. We moved from California to Nashville, and we just got him lessons. And it's just so cool to see like a 5-year-old, like, like I could just imagine
Yeah.
you at 6, playing drums. And it's something I hope he continues with. He knows about 5 or so beats right now. And it's just interesting to watch this little kid just, smash the drums.
It's just like so funny at its core. It's like especially like my first drum set was not a kid's drum set. For some reason, my dad and my uncle, who's a drummer, they got me this huge like I think the brand was called Sunlight, and the kick
Mhm.
drum was massive. The toms were bigger than my head. And
Right.
so there are these pictures of me just like sitting on a stool, like my legs dangling, and just like these huge drums. It's just like that is comical no matter what. It's
That's
just
so
really funny.
funny. A company, honestly, what the biggest thing that we've had an issue with is finding a throne. There's no one makes, unless no one makes a kid-sized throne. Like this is a multi-million-dollar company I'm creating as we speak.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking up like 13-inch, ottoman seat, like just anything I
Yeah.
can get him to sit on. Right now, he's got like a record crate, like one of
Yeah.
my old crates for my records, and I put like this little pillow, but it's not a round circle, so it's just kind of a nightmare for him to play.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you should get that going. It's very niche market, I'd say, but
Really, that
you
no,
should.
there's no one making it. You have to full on buy a whole like child drum set like off Amazon
Yeah,
just to get
right.
the little throne. You can't just buy the throne. And I bought talking to the guy when I bought the kit, he's like, "Oh yeah, this will be fine for your 5-year-old." And then sure enough, it's impossible for him to hit the kick.
Yep.
So
Yep. Just like
anyway,
laboring to try to like reach the ground and
yeah.
just do one kick.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to know that you also have the same experience, but yours is
Yes.
an even bigger scale, right? The drums are a bit bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you talked about writing songs and just going home to record as a kid growing up, but like, you must have been in the school band or orchestra, anything like that, jazz band.
Yeah, jazz band, all the thing. I never did like classical or orchestra. I did jazz band. I was in a samba drum line outside of school, and we would march in the New York Halloween parade every year.
Rad.
And yeah, all the different bands. And then I finally in high school like joined a band that was like a rock band. And then after that in college, when I was in high school, I started booking shows in the city for the band, and that was when I really started like getting out there with my own stuff, and just getting into fights with like venue bookers about like different ridiculous stuff. Like I was just like a dramatic high schooler, just like, hey, you said the state was about like doing like booking, like it's and it's all still in my email. It's just like email
That's
is
so
like
awesome.
this weird treasure trove of stuff from like decades ago now. Anyway, so yeah, all the bands.
But were you drumming, or were you songwriting and singing at this point?
The in high school I had a
Mhm.
band where I sang, played guitar, and that was like my own music. And then I had another band that was I was the drummer of, so it wasn't my songs per se, but
But you
yeah,
played it with the band. Got it. Okay.
yeah.
And you were playing different venues with both bands throughout high school?
Yeah, we used to play Sidewalk Cafe and Lion's Den. I mean, anybody that's been in New York for a
Mhm.
little while will know these names. But yeah, just sort of like getting out there, inviting all of our friends. Like we would pack these clubs because like you're in high school, like there's just like an audience there that will come
Right.
to any show. So
Uh-huh.
we would roll into like these venues with just this like, we would fill the place, and then we would all, none of us could drink, so like we would have to get out by a certain time and all this
Mhm.
stuff. But yeah, those were the days. After I graduated college, because college was the same thing. Like there was just this captive audience of people
Mhm.
that will just come to your shows, and then after you graduate, everybody just disperses, and suddenly it's like you book a show, and you're like, wait, where is everybody?
Right. Now you're
um,
trying to phone in favors like, "Hey,
yeah,
we're
now you're in the real
playing."
world. It's a whole other game once
Uh-huh.
you get out of school and you're trying to like get people to come to shows. But yeah, that's I've been doing that. I've been doing this for a while,
Mhm.
and still doing it, still booking shows, and not getting into as many fights with
That's
booking
good.
agents anymore. I know how to like um, you know do that privately and then write them back if
Right,
they like.
right. That's funny. Well, tell me about getting into NYU. That must have been what, a audition process or some sort?
Oh yeah. Auditioning for I auditioned for a bunch of schools, and they bring you in and they make you play three jazz standards, one slow, one medium, one fast, and a whole world that I am so far away from now that it feels like another life. But yeah, it was intense. And yeah, I don't know what it did to me psychologically, but I definitely came into college with like a little bit of a mixture of having a chip on my shoulder, and then also like some like you're like going from being the drummer, like the musician kid in your life, and
Right.
then you're plucked into this like community of all of those kids together.
Right. Right.
It's like, oh wait, you like how much do you practice? Oh, I practice like 5 hours a day, like John Coltrane. Like he supposedly practiced like 10 hours a day. And it's just like that world. I was just like, oh my god, I don't know what my life is anymore.
Right, right. You said you auditioned for multiple schools? Was NYU the one
Yes.
that you wanted to go to no matter what? Or was that
I,
the
I
one, I
wanted,
guess, first
yeah,
choice?
I wanted to go to Berklee College of Music for
Mhm.
for a while when I was in high school, and then I slowly got talked out of that and decided to go to like a more uh like a place where I wouldn't be just around musicians all the time.
Right.
And NYU felt like the best place for me.
Mhm.
Like especially because the bands I had in high school were continuing and were like snowballing, and two of those guys already went to NYU, and so I was like, okay, well let's keep it going, and just
Right.
yeah. Then before you know it, you've been living in New York for your whole life, and you've never lived anywhere else. Um, so yeah,
So it's not a bad thing.
no,
Yeah, it's interesting. I think somebody told me the rate of people actually graduating from Berkeley is like like so slim, like that
yeah,
actually get there and act and finish, because usually you'll land a gig or something will happen in the sense of, you know,
yeah,
graduating, and then you're like, okay, I have this degree in whatever, when someone else could have 2 months in wrote a hit, right? And then they're
yeah,
gone. Like, why even go back? But like, it's just interesting that I feel like NYU would be a school where you'd want to finish, because at least you have the degree from NYU. There, that says a lot more than, not that Berkeley isn't an amazing school to have a degree from, especially if you're a musician, but that means I'm a musician. Like NYU could be like, I'm a musician and I went to NYU
yeah,
kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's got a little more of a more
yeah.
backing in the sense of the academic world would look at it as.
No, exactly. My mom definitely liked that I would have a, because for her it's like, a little backup plan. You could always teach music, and if you have the
Right.
NYU degree, then whereas now, I mean, now at this point, I'm like, I I don't know who went where, and I don't care.
No, it doesn't
um,
matter, but it's just in the sense
but
of the
yeah,
like the
yeah,
degree itself. It's like, oh, I went to NYU. Oh, well, okay. But if it's like, yeah, I went to Berkeley School of Music. Oh, okay, you're a musician. First shot, right off the bat, you're a musician.
yeah,
Okay, but
yeah,
that, I mean, how cool! What a cool story. What a cool place to end up. So
yeah.
with that, once you finish at NYU, or I don't know where the story picks up from there, but when does the, Miles Francis start, and the band and everything? How does that continue?
So when I was in college, I joined my first year of college. I joined a band called Antiballus, which is a Afrobeat band that started in the late '90s, actually. And by the time I joined, they had already had like a 10-year long career. They're
Oh
still
wow.
together now, but yeah, I basically was uploading videos. I discovered Afrobeat music by Fela Kuti, who was a Nigerian artist, popular in the '70s and '80s, and
Hmm.
that music was like exactly what I needed to find as a freshman in college, because it gave me an out. It gave me, I totally, changed course, found my identity, stopped caring about getting about jazz in the snobby, like, um academic sense, and
Hmm.
just started caring about my own voice. And that really set it off for me, as far as songwriting, and just finding who I am within music, in a long-term way. And so I joined Antiballus. They took me out on the road. I almost didn't graduate college, actually, because I was so busy with them, but
Oh
I did end
wow.
up coming back and finishing my last year begrudgingly. Um, but yeah, then from Antiballus, it's kind of this chain. What is it called? Domino. Yeah, domino
Hmm.
effect.
So
Um,
real quick, with
yeah,
Antiballus, you toured the world with them essentially, or was that your
yeah,
first touring experience, and you're in this band, and now you get to do, like, kind of like
yeah.
what I was saying earlier about Berkeley, where it's like now you're doing the thing,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, exactly.
So.
I was out there doing the thing. I was the youngest by a bunch of years, and just like, you know following along with, there were a couple mentors I had in that band,
Hmm.
and it was just like a deep study of that music, while also getting a lot of touring experience and recording experience. And that band particularly is very respected within the music community, and so we would
Hmm.
get to do all sorts of cool gigs where like people would want Antibalas as their house band. So like we did a Paul Simon tribute at Carnegie Hall, where we backed
Whoa.
up like all sorts of crazy art, Alan Toussaint and Betty LaVette, and just these like staples of like
Like
soul.
legends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, and I was like 21 or 22 or something, just like holy shit. And from there, it was we opened up for Arcade Fire, which is another example. Like Arcade Fire, New Anti-Ballisms was like, let's come
Oh,
and
so
jump on tour.
that's where that connection comes in. I was going to ask about that.
Yeah. So we were opening for Arcade Fire in Italy and like a little Europe run. We played just ridiculous venues with them. We're just like,
Oh yeah,
okay, well,
I
I'm just like
imagine.
in an Italian, in a castle in Italy, just playing. Okay, like yeah, great. Um,
That's
and
so crazy. That's so amazing, though.
yeah, it was that was a big moment for me because seeing Arcade Fire and who I didn't grow up, I didn't know about them at all growing up until this point. And the thing I immediately fixated on was the keyboard player, who is Will Butler, who I
Mhm.
ended up joining his solo project as his drummer. But yeah, he just totally, I was transfixed with the way he moved, the way he approached performing. He had this whole improvisation element and performance art element that if you're just watching Arcade Fire, you might miss it. But if you're just watching him the whole time, he's like acting this whole stage play that you just, you don't even know. Like, wait, does anybody else see this? Like, he's literally taking his jacket off, folding it up in his arm, and then putting it back on repeatedly through this song. Is anybody else seeing this?
Right.
It was ridiculous. He's an amazing performer, and that changed everything for me.
So you played in his solo project band?
Yeah,
Wow.
basically, yeah.
That's so awesome.
From so I met him on that tour. I would pick his brain every night after the shows, and then he was doing a solo show where he just played with a drum machine, and I went and saw it, and then I just emailed him and I was like, hey, do you need a drummer? And he was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. So um
Whoa.
so
So
then I
then
joined his band, and yeah.
that's crazy. That's amazing. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
you
like
gotta
I
just
did what,
email, you gotta just like write people and ask if they need something.
but
It's a good way to get something.
what's wild to me is that he was cool enough to actually hang out when they were headlining the tour. Because you'll hear a lot of stories where the headliner doesn't have to come out and chat with anyone, right?
Yeah,
They're there, they're bringing the audience, so to speak, and for him to let you ask questions and do those things. I mean, I think that's so amazing.
yeah. I mean, when I think of like down to earth famous rock stars, I think definitely Arcade Fire is on that list. They're like the most down to earth, nice people. And Will was definitely just, he was a standout, and I'm been lucky to have people like him, mentor types who give me the time of day,
Hmm.
and then eventually, whoop,
I'm still here. Do you not see me
oh,
anymore?
oh, you're still there.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Sorry. There you
No
are.
worries. Did you maybe just minimize me?
Yeah, it's what happened.
I get it. No, just kidding.
Zoom, baby. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Anyway, yeah, it was big. And then once I started touring with him and playing with him, and I a lot of what he was doing seeped into my own thing, and that's when I started really focusing on my own music, and my Miles Francis project grew sort of in the tour van of Will Butler's shows.
Oh, wow. And
Yeah.
does going back to your what you're saying when he plays and takes the jacket off and puts it back on. In the video you have recently at the very end, you are pulling a jacket off and then at the end you got it on. Was that
Yeah.
an ode to to
No,
that, or didn't even
I,
think about it?
I did not think about that, but there's tons of little things like that he opened my mind up to, and got me going, like looking at different other performance artists. Bruce Nauman is an artist that I really that I really love, where there's a lot of repetition and taking sort of mundane things, but then once you zoom in and really multiply it, then it's like, whoa, it becomes weird. It becomes some other statement. So yeah, that Will got me started on that. And yeah, I I didn't make the connection before, but definitely
I just
subconscious.
thought when I watched the video, obviously didn't put that together either until you said it. I was like, maybe that's why Miles did that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the David Byrne also school of like, yeah, taking a very simple movement, and it sort of gets injected with this other meaning once you put it in a different context, like on a stage when you're just
Right.
doing something so mundane. So yeah, I just love that shit. Just like, it's everything to me.
So when you're touring with Will Butler, that's when Miles Francis begins the project. And are you working, like, tell me about how it started going, where you were the drummer for his band, and then you in the tour bus or something, you're writing songs that end up becoming the project?
Yeah. It was a van. It was definitely not a bus.
Tour van.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
van.
I didn't know what a Grammy award winning side project looked like.
I know. No, I didn't either. Will was very made an effort to sort of keep it down to earth.
That's awesome.
I'm sure he could have gotten a tour bus, but it's like,
right.
Arcade Fire kind of like shot to the top pretty quickly, and so maybe he wanted to sort of feel the tour van vibe.
Life. Right. I like that. But,
yeah, it was like I just started tinkering with songs, and it just, something happened in that time where the songs I was writing were not like anything I had done before. There was a maturing that was happening, and that those songs became an EP that I put out back in 2018, which is called Swimmers. And then there's another EP that I put out as a sort of B side of that EP called Doves. And then that's around that time when I started thinking about my first album, which is coming out next month. That, it's been sort of a growing process, even through those first EPs, where it was written in tour vans and sort of here and there around the world, different experiences, playing with other people. This album was really like okay, let me like really like hone in on this sound, and a lot of it was just made at home, no distraction, just focusing on me. And yeah, but it's been a process. It's been years of getting to that point, giving myself the focus and the attention, instead of sort of fitting it in around everything else in my life.
Do you feel like since the last one came out, or you had that record you're just talking about, the B-sides came out in 2019, and then obviously the pandemic happens. Do you feel like that let you had a lot of time to really focus on what the next step for Miles Francis would become? I mean, you're not on the road writing now because you're probably at home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was, I had already been planning, like towards the end of 2019, I was like, okay, I'm going to take, 6 months or so. I'm going to just kind of step into the shadows a bit and just really write an album, do an album. Like, and then the pandemic happened. I was like, okay, I guess, this is going to take a little longer than 6 months, but it was really just a process of all these other factors. Besides the music part really came together, but there was a whole element of bringing all these songs together, and what were they about, and what am I trying to say? Who am I even? What am I doing here? What's the point? 2020 was the year of that, for me, and ultimately it all culminated in a photo shoot for the album cover. And once I thought of what the album cover was going to be, then it all like clicked, and the ideas just it all coalesced. So yeah, here we are.
Oh, interesting. So the album, the record was what, written in bits and pieces until you shot the cover, and then what, you found the thread to kind of weave everything else together with? Like, tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was the album. There were like 20 songs that were floating around that I was excited about. Some of them older, some of them newer, and it was a process of like, what is this? What am I trying to say to the world with these songs? And that took a long time to figure out, even though it's a seemingly simple question of like, okay, which songs make it, which songs don't. Like, I'm not on a major label where there are people telling me like, okay, gotta be this song, gotta be that song, then track 4 is gotta be that for sure. Like, nobody's saying that to me. So it took me a while to figure out like, what is this going to be called? What am I getting at with all of these songs? And then I thought of the album cover. I thought, I want to involve my parents. I thought, I want to show two sides of a man. I want to show something that represents, trauma or identity and someone's nature and all this stuff. And I thought of that photo, kind of an American Gothic style photo with these outfits that I had envisioned for years as well. And once that happened, it was like, oh, okay, this song should definitely be on it. Maybe this song is not as related, it can come later or something separately, but it just tied the whole concept together. And for me, concept is everything. I love making visuals. I love sort of padding the music within a world, and that album cover photo was the beginning of that for me.
Okay. For people that are just listening, can you describe the album cover? I mean, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. So it's a square shape. It's a photograph of me and my parents, except there's superimposed. There's a clone of me. So it's two people,
of you, correct?
Two of me and my parents. And each Miles is wearing a different outfit corresponding to the parent that I'm standing next to, or in my dad's case, I'm sitting on his shoulders. And we photographed it in this really industrial part of Greenpoint, Brooklyn, where they're trying desperately to put some green space in there. So they kind of like allocated like this sliver next to the highway where they planted a bunch of trees, but right behind it is this just massive imposing concrete wall. And it was just like, this is perfect. Like, this is the place that represents all of this stuff that I'm trying to get across as far as identity and just trying to fit nature in, trying to fit beauty or freedom into this just deeply just structured environment, just like rooted deep into the ground, and you can't puncture through it. So anyway, that's the photo.
Right. No, it's funny that you say they put these trees in like greenery and the photo is in the middle of the winter, and the tree, I don't know if that's the spot where the trees are. There's trees there, but they're all dead, right? Or there's no branches or no leaves and anything on it.
Yeah. It's an eerie spot in the winter, especially.
Sure.
And yeah, it just made sense. With the album is about, I wrote it about just manhood, masculinity, and all these questions that have come up for me around masculinity and over the last few years. And at the end of the day, a lot of those questions, the answers go back to your upbringing, or the society around you, or your parents, or wherever, just questioning behaviors. And each song is kind of a dive into a specific behavior that I experience, or that men in my life that I've sort of tracked in them. And so it felt like I needed to have a connection to parents on my album cover, and they appear in, well, yeah, a couple of the videos as well. And yeah, it just, it blew, again, the photo blew everything open for me. And from there, the music video concepts came out, and it's been kind of a journey that, yeah, it's coming out, just a couple of weeks, which is just crazy. But yeah.
Probably pretty exciting, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know everybody says this, but like, it feels like this is the album I've been waiting. It's taken my whole life to write. But I do feel a little like that, at least like, a decade.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you worked your ass off for the record. I would hope it's your, favorite work.
Yeah. Yeah. I get too romantic about it, but it really is. First and foremost, I feel something when I listen to it, and I still like it, even though I've heard everything a bajillion times. But it means a lot to me. And so I think that hopefully it means a lot to like one person, like, or 5 people. If it like meant a lot to 5 people, I would be happy. I really would.
I think it will. At least, I mean, the song, I love the video. Like I was talking earlier about the jacket. I want to talk to you about the video for Let Me Cry, and how it's all in one shot, and just talking about the video concepts. That looks similar to, I mean, you're obviously in the midst of New York City, right? You're laying on the, whatever, the divider, the street divider thing. And you tell everybody about the video.
Yeah. So all my videos for this album they're kind of like a string of a narrative that's, each video picks up where the last one left off. So this video opens with the character sleeping on the divider right beside the highway, which is right by where we shot the album cover.
It is. It looks similar. I mean, it does. So that's cool that it is the same spot.
Yeah. And the idea for the video was, okay, this song is about trying to access your emotions. And so I was like, okay, instead of planning, a crazy video where there's all these different shots and everything, let's just do one take where I'm not going to plan any choreography whatsoever. I'm just going to move to the song and just try to be as freely expressive as possible. And so that's basically what it is.
It's all improvised then.
Yeah, it's totally improvised. We did about, I want to say we did 4 takes, and each of them were a little bit different, depending. It was me and Charles B.O., who I filmmaker who I collaborate with on all my stuff. It was literally just me and him, and kind of like dancing together, moving down the street, weaving in and out of trucks, and yeah, it was definitely an intense, it's intense to just like go out on the street and just like freak out, and feel free to move however you want, especially in a city where everyone is, everyone's just minding their business and trying to just like get on with their day. But yeah, it was in a video that I think was necessary to make, amongst other videos where, yeah, it's like a little more involved, a little more produced. And that's the video for Let Me Cry. And then the next video, which came out as well, was called Nature, was kind of the inverse of that, where I did the same concept, except in the other character that you see on the album cover. And it's a little bit of a different setting. It's a different energy. And then there's an ending that is kind of unexpected, that I'll let the listeners go check it out.
Yeah. I didn't know if that one was out yet to talk about, but okay, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil the ending. Real quick though, you mentioned expressing yourself freely in a city where people are trying to mind their own business, and that must have been, there's a snippet of the video where there's two construction worker guys like in a mat. They're both in masks and they're between two of the trailers there. I don't know what they were doing, but I mean, did they see the first three take? Like what like you kind of go up near where they are and they're just kind of looking. I thought that was so cool.
That was that was a good moment. And yeah, that's one of those moments where you're doing a video in public and then you just come across two people that are watching you, and you either lean into it and go towards them, or you kind of shy away. And when we're rolling and we don't have that much time, I'm just like, okay, you're in my video now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it worked because it felt, you feel judged in those moments. You feel like weird, or you feel like, you should just sort of straighten out. And I think it worked for the concept of the song, which is all about feeling boxed in and like you can't express yourself for fear of judgment of any kind. So it made sense that at some point in that video, I actually did come up to a real, situation where I'm with strangers, and I felt a little bit, I felt watched, and it was my choice to either, go and throw myself against the fence towards them, which is kind of what I did, or figure something else out.
Right. I love that you went towards them. I thought that was so cool, and because you can kind of tell, it's a one take as the video starts to go along, and you see the guys there, and you kind of go up to the fence, and you're doing your thing, and I just saw that. I was like, oh, that's really awesome that Miles decided to just roll with it and really embrace the fact that the people were there.
Yeah, happy accidents. It's definitely it's a through line for my process for music, and it's nice when a music video can stay spontaneous.
It's amazing. It's a great video, and I appreciate your time today, Miles. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yeah, I really appreciate it and love talking to you.
Awesome. I have one more quick question for you. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Oh, aspiring artists. I mean, I would say just follow your own. I'm going to be as cliche as I possibly can, but it is the best cliche because it's so true, is just be you, just whatever you want to be, whatever you want to present. And that's outside of how you feel, around your family, around your friends, whatever, and there are boxes that you have to break out of to embrace your full artist self. But at the end of the day, like if you just are truly you and all of your weirdness and all of your strangeness, or whatever it is, that will sustain you, and other people can feel it too, and it will inspire other people to do the same, and then eventually we'll have a whole world of people just being themselves. So that's my advice, is the classic, be yourself. Bring it back.